Heyo! How's everybody doing? One second. This is a lot brighter than I thought it was. There you go. No more light pelting me in the face. How's everyone doing, man? It's Tuesday. I'm still on break, man. It feels good. Hey, Neil. Oh, man. So, Jose, goes good here. I'm good, man. So, I think it's been a minute since I've really actually taken a break from anything. Because there's been a couple times where, for like the last couple months, I've said it. I haven't done it, but I've gone to April. I was like, what if I just gave up on everything? Like, what if I just became one of those people that didn't do anything outside of work, collected paychecks, didn't make content, didn't do any? What if that was me? She's like, could you do that? I was like, sometimes I'd like to think I could do that. Like, you're hooked on the podcast? I'm glad you like it, man. Yeah. So, Eric and I are actually coming up with topics for Selftaught or Not Season 2. For those of you who don't know, selftaughtOrNot.com is Eric Hanchett and my podcast. We did 24 episodes. It's pretty good. Almost 70,000 subs. Yeah, man. We're growing pretty slowly, and that's partly my fault. We're growing by about 500, 600 subs a month. We got a bunch because of the Traversy Media stimulus package. Anytime you have a YouTuber with a significant, pretty much when Brad did his top videos or other YouTube channels, Brad is essentially the most active or in the top 5 most active coding channels. And so like I got like literally like 6 to 7 to 8 months worth of subs. Like yeah, dude. So anytime that happens, the old Traversy Media stimulus package. So that's nice. Yeah, we're almost at 70K. 100K the dream though. That's where we're at. But yeah, man, I was talking to April and saying like, well, what if I just like, and I think it's mainly burnout talking because I know I couldn't do it long term. But what if I just stopped doing things? And then it became, well, what else would you do? I was like, I guess I'd get in shape. So I've been working out a little bit, like 20 minutes a day every day, but I feel pretty good. The gun show's coming back to town, you know what I'm saying? But I've actually been trying to dedicate more time to health. This is the thing. It used to be wealth, but it's supposed to be health, wealth, and happiness. Oh yeah, 2020 go win a 10K scratch off, dude. Isn't that nutty, dude? I actually have a video talking about what I did with my Christmas bonus, just to talk about that story. So yeah, I can't believe I we won $10,000 so on a $5 scratcher. Not that I condone gambling or anything like that, but we were just having some fun. But yeah, man, that was dope. So technically April won it. We both had a $5 one. Mine didn't win shit. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, occasionally when I have like, so one thing I like to do whenever I go visit family, if I'm buying like Christmas gifts or like something like that, is I'll go buy like $1 or $2 scratchers for everybody. So like even if there's 25 people there, if you buy a $2 scratcher for everybody just to say thanks, it's only $50, right? And so, so we did a white elephant Christmas gift exchange at my house, and I bought $25 of scratchers as my white elephant gift, and I picked up 2 $5 ones for April and I, and we won 10 grand. I also pick them up when I do like road trips cross country, like just at random gas stations. but they're literally just pure gambling. There's no skill, there's no nothing. It's just like, oh hey, it's something fun to do. So that was our Christmas Eve. Like, you know how like people open up presents early on Christmas Eve? We did that. Like, what? Oh, you get one present. We did that with scratchers. Like the white trash we are. No, yeah, but it was I mean, it was dope. It's always dope to win $10,000. I don't know what else to say about it. I will say that it wasn't wasted. So 2,400 goes straight to Uncle Sam. The other 7,600 we put into beefing up our rainy day fund, which we were in the process of doing, because we just threw the last $8,000 at a to eliminate the PMI on the house. So we lowered our cost of living by about $283 or $285 for the exact amount on the private mortgage insurance. And so we built that back up a little bit, which we had already done. And the rest of it went into stocks, high interest savings account, and typical stuff, investments for the future. Dude, TypeScript. I love me some TypeScript. TypeScript's dope. 2020 gold, get a second dev job, secure large rates. That's pretty cool, man. I luckily my work's cool with side work. The only thing is I have to get it approved, so like to make sure there's no conflicts of interest. So I actually have a meeting later this week to do some consulting about 10 hours a week with a consulting agency. So I'm pretty excited to see how that plays out. So I'm love your finance chats. They're goals of mine. I've been debating doing so like recently I had to do some more financials. So like one of the issues with having a single income right now is that I know everything and it's all up here. And sometimes that's a little bit scary for your significant other, right? It's a little bit scary for when like I know all the financials inside and out because I manage all the money, but I had to recently put it down for April, just so that she knew our gross salary, what I roughly make, what our money goes towards, all that sort of stuff. Goal for 2020 is to make $5,000 a side income. That is a fantastic goal. If there's one thing I could recommend you guys do is try and build up a passive income stream. And it may not sound like that much, $500, $5,000 a year, but that's almost $500 a month, man. And it's going to be a grind. But once you get it there, it's much easier to maintain, right? Get another scratch off $5. I appreciate that, man. I occasionally hesitate to make the finance videos because I'm obviously not a financial advisor or anything of the sort. And realistically, I've only really made good money for 3 years. It's like if you look at my income, it was like, what were we in 20? We're about to go in 2020. In 2016 was my first, like 2015, I made, it might even be 2016. Let me look at my LinkedIn real quick. Okay, so in 2016, all right, September of 2016 was when that job ended. So I'm going to say at the end of 2016, I was making roughly $45,000 a year. So we're saying 2016, 45K, and that was in California. So I basically saw $5,000, but I was basically grinding it out. And then I went for 2017, I went from 62 to 67,000. So we'll say 67,000 at the end of 2017. At the end of 2018, I was at the end of 2018, I was basically at 75,000. But we'll say 2019, I ended up at 110 or 115 rather, and then a lot of bonuses. So really, this is the first year where I've actually collected a very large paycheck, and if we do the math here for the last 4 years, and this is rough math, but this doesn't count bonuses or anything like that. But we say, okay, 45,000 plus 67,000 plus 75,000 plus 115,000. So about $300,000 of income. Based off $300,000 of income, that's gross. Let's just take about 30% off the top. So times that by 0.7. So we have $211,000 at the end of the day that came in my pocket, not counting, then we'll take another 10 grand off of this or that, we'll say 200,000. Of 200,000, we saved $100,000, which I'm pretty happy about. We were able to save roughly 50% of our base salary and our income. And a lot of that is just by making what I think are good financial decisions. A lot of that is going in, paying down all of our debt, eliminating it, building up passive income streams, all that sort of stuff. So we went from a net worth of negative to 100,000, which I'm pretty excited about. So we have a 1 or 2 financial videos coming out, but I'm always hesitant to do the financial videos, even though I think they're helpful. This isn't a financial channel. And also, there is a good portion of people who go to become developers to get out of bad financial situations. And I don't necessarily want to remind them of their shitty financial situation, because like people know if they're broke and they're struggling. I don't need to be reminded of it. But maybe it's helpful to see, hey man, the grass is greener on the other side and you can do much better. So I don't know. But yeah, recently I did the financials where for April, where we're discussing what it's going to cost us to, like, I broke down, like, okay, we're relocating sometime this year, and I broke down the financials as realistically for us to relocate, it's going to cost us about $35,250. And I broke that down about what that breaks down into, and what and why, right? And then I also broke down what our liquid assets are, as well as our monthly budget. So, it's just so that we're all on the same page, because I think, and I don't know shit about relationships, but I think it's important that if you are the person in charge of the money, that occasionally you set up, even if they don't ask, you set up something to say, hey, this is what we spend, this is what it costs, this is where we're at, because it's important, at least to me, to put people at ease. So maybe I'll do a video breaking down my numbers. Would you guys want to see that? Like, hey, what I spend my $115,000 salary on? What actually, how it breaks down, what it goes to, all that sort of stuff. How much goes towards retirement every month, etc. Yep. Okay. I'll make a video. Yep. Please do. But yeah, so recently did that. But yeah, man, I'm glad you guys have goals. So here's my suggestions about your goals: is don't necessarily just have goals, have milestones to hit those goals, have objectives of how you're going to get there. Don't just say I'm going to do this and that. What has been your favorite podcast topic so far? Definitely the money talk, man, because I mean, I'm very money oriented. I'm very money focused, and it's actually gotten less the case. Like, I'm less worried about money than I ever been in my life, because now we have some, like, now we're not grinding. But I think it's one of the most important things that we talked about from our podcast. So our podcast generally stays away from the sort of real technical stuff, and more we talk about the business aspects of software engineering. And the money one, I think, is very valuable because it can be life changing and career changing. Because not only do we talk about like, oh, well, how do we go and increase our salary, but we also more so dive into where to increase your salary outside of work. Because no matter how great of a company you are, or company you work at, they still have to run a business. And sometimes that means with or without you. And you need to be prepared for that. And having your own income streams that you have generated is a great way not to worry about it. Like I got laid off this year. I got laid off this year. How crazy is that? But I got laid off, and then we moved across country, spent about $7,000 to $8,000 on the move, then moved back 3 days later, and you know, have a good one, Alex. Have a good one, man. Then came back, and we are still able to be all right because we saved responsibly. So I think how to make money as a developer is crucial, because it's not just about money. Money just gives you options, right? I'm not over here trying to sleep on a bed of money and be Scrooge McDuck, right? What I'm trying to do is provide financial freedom and financial options. Although I don't like financial freedom, but you know, what I would like to do is make sure that I can, take care of myself, my family, and that's basically it. And that shit's expensive. Like, hey, Don, I know you're doing WGU and quit because some stuff was outdated, but they recently created a CS degree. Is that the one where you said keep interviewing all the time, even if you're not changing jobs? That sounds like something I say. If it was in that episode, no. Typically, my advice is that you should always take interviews that are people reach out to you, because you never know what may be a better situation. Like, all that it costs you is a little bit of time. It also shows you what the market rate is, and also what what technologies are in demand. My concern is employers might not respect a WGU degree. I think WGU is all right, respected. But it's just like anything else. Bachelor is just gonna help open doors a little bit more for you. My recommendation. So here's my thoughts about bachelor's degrees. Because I occasionally think about going back, and I might. I think I'm going to at sometime in the future, but not for probably what you think. So for your first junior level or senior level role in the States, it's a little bit different overseas. But in the States, you don't really need a degree. But for your junior and senior level roles, you don't need a bachelor's. But as you progress, you want to move up much more into management. You typically are going to need one to continue to grow, and it's the unfortunate truth. There's a lot of times, if you don't, there's nothing wrong with being a senior developer. You do great as a senior developer, but I always am interested in growing my career and making more money. So, like, for me, I wouldn't go and get a computer science degree because I don't need a computer science degree. Does nothing for my career. Does that make sense? Like, if I'm going back or I'm going for something, like a computer science degree helps you get a junior level role, helps you get a senior level role, but it does nothing for my career. It opens up some doors for you that maybe you're having trouble opening. But for me, at where I'm at, so what I would go back for is a management information systems degree, which essentially is a bachelor's in how to manage dev teams and organizations and stuff like that. I'd also consider going back for a potential degree in finance or economics, because as you move up in organizations and management, oftentimes you're doing a lot of financials. So that'd be helpful as well. So. Started December 2nd. Nice, man. What sort of metrics can you measure yourself by to put on your resume and prove your value in the job market? Well, the first thing that I would say is go and see what the. Okay, so the first thing I would say is define what it is that you want, right? So if your goal, when you say, hey, I want to increase my value, the best thing you can do is to go and see where you want to increase your value. So you're saying, okay, I want to have a larger base salary. Cool. I want to have better benefits. All right. I want to, because here's the thing, it's not just all about base salary, right? There's a lot of other things to consider. And so you need to find what those are. Like Baby Yoda. I don't know. I saw like Baby Yoda video where it's like they kept on flipping on the 50 Cent in the club in the Starship. I loved it. But the first thing I would say is define what that value is. It could be going and working at an organization where you're going to do better. I've talked about numerous times where I thought so when I was going from 67,000 to 75,000, when I jumped jobs, I actually had an offer for 90,000, which is a significant, pay increase. Like, what is that calculator? Bring out the calculator. So, $15,000 difference, which would probably be what's 75. What's 15,000 divided by 75,000? So 15 divided by 75. Okay, so it's about 20% more. And I turned that role down because I thought the other role would make me a better developer, because that was what I valued. I valued becoming a better developer because I knew that 20% increase on top of that wasn't going to make the biggest difference in a year's time. So the other thing is, okay, salary, learning goals, new technologies. Sometimes you might have to take so I've known developers who have got stuck in the jQuery and they went over to a React role, but they kept their same salary even though they had more years of experience because it wasn't in the technologies. And that's okay, because now you're learning more in demand skills that are going to pay better down the road. So you have to put value on it. And benefits, I went from 110 to 115, and it's like, oh, you left for a $5,000 raise. Well, technically I was laid off, but I would have. I would have. It's the honest truth. Because the benefits have values on them as well. So you go, okay, well, maybe I want more PTO. You go from 2 weeks of PTO to 3 weeks of PTO. Now you want a better 401k. Blah 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 blah. Right. So you have to put value on what it is that. Define that value. Just don't say I want to increase my value, because once you're able to define that, you'll have a much clearer guideline for what your goal is, right? And what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So maybe you want remote. So be clear about that. The next thing is see what people are hiring for. See what people are wanting. And the easiest way to do that is simply look at the job applications. Those are you know what those are called? Want applications. We want this person. Be that person. Go and gain those skills. Go and gain those items that say, hey, you know what? I have a blog dedicated to Vue. See, I want to work in Vue. Oh, I have a course I built in TypeScript. I have a book I wrote. You're looking for someone familiar Scrum? I happen to go and get Scrum certified. All these items that build up. And that's sort of like what my recent video about the LinkedIn quizzes was. Go and take those quizzes. Takes you a little bit of time, but those people who are seeing what how to measure you by, those are something they are measuring you by. They are filtering you from other candidates. Say, oh, this person has these quizzes, so that obviously that they know what they're doing, or they're at least worth a phone call. So define what it is that you are trying to get, and then go educate yourself about the people who can give it to you and how you're going to get it. I don't have a suggestion for you, diabetic manatee. I'd love to send you an affiliate link for something, but the honest truth is, whatever works for you. April uses a Windows Surface, and she likes it because it's lightweight. She can carry it elsewhere. So what I would say is $800 under. You, for generally speaking, for a dev, just get something high RAM that has a SSD. That would be my recommendation. Doesn't really matter though. Find something you like. Happy 2020 to you too. Yeah, my dogs are going crazy because of the fireworks going off. It's not that many because it's still early, but when you code, do you write working code first and then refactor it to be clean, or do you spend more time trying to write it clean on the first run? So I typically write it clean as I go. And most of the time you'll see that as you continue to do it and implement these things, it just comes naturally, right? Now, that doesn't mean I don't refactor and make it better, but I typically write it cleanly as I go and add tests for it as I go. So what are your coding goals by the end of 2020? So I want to launch one course and I want to finish my book. Those are my goals, really, at the end of the day. There's a couple others, but I've been... we are planning to move this year, so that's going to be quite a bit of change. And I'd like to speak at a conference. I've actually thrown like 4 or 5 conference talks at what do you call it? At NGConf. So I'm like just spamming with ideas that I'd love to give at NGConf. So try and do that. There's but really, I kind of plan on taking it easy. And sort of what I did on break. I played a lot of video games on break and sort of took it easy. I worked for a few days. I did about 3 months of videos that I plan on releasing on topics because I want to, I don't mind working hard for a little bit, but want to take it easy. Any salary negotiating tips when getting your second or third dev job? The best negotiating tip is having a counter offer. Always start out a conversation with also I typically start conversations off with money because I don't want to waste anybody's time. So like your goal should be to make above market rate, and if you are, it's great. It's but you should start the conversation with money, which is opposite of what a lot of people tell you, because why are you going to waste your time? Why are you going to waste their time? Say, hey, what do you look for? 130,000. Well, this roll maxes out 110. Cool. It's not going to work. So depending on where you're at, if you're on the lower end, you're probably not as worried about it. Also, when an offer is made, ask for $5,000 more. That's my negotiating tactic. Always ask for $5,000 more. If they ask why, say the market rate. Say, it's typically justified. So yeah, I don't know. This year, so one goal of mine, I don't know if this is a coding goal. I'd like to get to 100,000. I want right over, there we go, right there. I want right there the plaque. That's what I want. Does being a dev YouTuber help or hurt you in jobs? It oftentimes helps. So it shows dedication, consistency, and passion. And two, it lends itself nicely to other side projects because you have someone to talk to it about, and you build a community, and you go down the mentor and education. and education stuff that a lot of people look for. So it's helped me at every one of my jobs. Now, there have been a few jobs where it hasn't helped me, but generally those are companies you don't want to work at. People who want you all for themselves. People are like, we own you. Goal is to stop wasting my time on dead end jobs. I can understand that, man. And I even did a video about like the best thing about a career versus a job is progression. College does suck. I can understand that. What do you do if you don't have people who can serve as a strong reference in web development? So, you mean like people who refer you for roles? How's the mini fridge treating you? It's good. It's kind of empty right now. So April and I, one of our goals is to be more environment friendly. So no bottled items. So that's been kind of an issue because usually there's bottled items in there, but I just have to buy like gallon items. So like no bottled water, no canned soda, things like that. Also, no energy drinks. Trying to bring that down as well, and eventually no caffeine. But we're about 6 months off from that, so we're trying to clean up our habits a little bit, eat healthier, all that sort of stuff. But I love it, man. Got a little freezer section. How can you hate on that? I got that for $100, $110. Wasn't that bad. Oh, if they can't act as a strong reference when companies check your references. So, okay, not every company is going to check your references, for one. But two, put down people that you've met at meetups, friends who are looking for development, anybody you can. And here's the thing. I've had people ask for me to be their reference, and unfortunately that's not going to work. Like, you want people right? You want people who are intimately familiar with you, who can be character witnesses more than anything else. When they say, previous coworkers that you would, be happy to have vouch for you, and say, I don't know anything about coding, but I did work with him for 5 years. He showed up on time. He was easy to work with. All that sort of stuff that is part of the cultural interview and behavioral more than anything else. My mini fridge is my reference. I gotta get that John Sonmez swell so I can do gotta get ripped. Yeah, Matt makes a good point. Is that pair programming with somebody can be a great reference. Your arms will be too big to code. Yeah. Start building a web dev business. Nice, man. Hey, did you guys see that one of the new features they're building? I forget the name of it. I always call it the null coalescent operator, where essentially, I think it's coming out this year or next year. So in JavaScript, typically you'd have to, like, say you had an object and you weren't sure if a property existed. You would do object if object dot property, if object dot property dot property. they're finally adding the question mark check so that you don't have to keep chaining that along, which is nice. Would I ever transition to a more management business role? Yes. I don't see myself being a senior dev for 10 years. So I would say it's probably within 10 years I'll transition. Keep that for time now. Optional chaining. Thank you. This is what I do in meetings. I turn my video off. I turn my video off in meetings. It's not much, but I'm working on it. Oh my God. This is the only thing I got to drink in there. Sparkling apple cranberry. What are your thoughts on Python versus Node? Either one is a good place to go. Friends are good, man. We all need friends. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually... Oh, you know what? I don't have a bottle cap up here, do I? Bottle opener. Favorite video game right now? Dude, all weekend I've been playing Brigadine, which is a PlayStation 1 strategy turn-based RPG. I kid you not, I've probably put 30 hours the last 4 days into it, which is more gaming I did than all year. I played the first one. So there's actually coming out with a new 20 years later, dude. 20 years later, they're coming out with a new version, a new game of it on the Switch. So I'm gonna buy a Switch in about 6 months. I found out, but anyhow, so I played that and I had a blast. And then I found out they had a grand edition. Basically, the way the game plays out is there's 5 countries or 6 countries at war. 5 are playable, and 1 is like the villain. So they come out with the grand edition only in Japan, which adds not only multiplayer, but it also lets you play as the villain, adds additional story, does some rebalancing. It's fantastic. So I spent the weekend finding out how to patch and translate the Japanese version so I could play it. But that's what I've been playing. I've been having a blast. What kind of board games do we play? A lot of really dorky ones, and I love them. Recently played Ascension, which is a deck building game. We played, God, what's that Jules game? Jules board game. Splendor. What else? Munchkins. I don't know. I got a buddy who buys a bunch of Kickstarter games, so we play a bunch of stuff. Werewolf. It depends how many people. Secret Hitler is a really fun game. You know, back on Playground, I've never even watched The Big Bang Theory, but yeah, man. So I've been having a blast playing games lately. It's I've sort of been ignoring a lot of other stuff, but it's been one of those where it's been one of the ones where it's been nice to relax, man. How's the filming for Video Dev Docs going? Not very well. I forced my time. I played some video games, and I instead, although I have someone I'm partnering up on with it in a couple weeks, and he and I are going to be filming the content together and working on different aspects of it. So I'm hoping that will go much smoother. So. But all right, guys, I'm actually getting a little hungry. I want to wish you all a happy New Year. I hope you are if you're able to enjoy a holiday break. I hope you are. If you're not, I hope you're working very hard to get to the point where you can. With all that being said, I will see you guys later, and have a happy New Year. Bye.